this design from Closets by Design, and it has some very interesting aspects to the plan, some that might provide some difficulty in design. As I look at the plan, and what Eric has sent me is this is obviously a bonus room over a garage. And if I look at, and the room is going to be 10 feet wide by 21, well, no, 19 feet deep. So the pictures that he has included have this design where we see hip walls in here. And I can tell that with long hang, and if you're doing closet-made shelving like they have in there, that's probably set at 70 inches, which means we're like 77, 78 inches in the back wall. But the interesting thing that doesn't really show in the pictures is when we look at the designs from Closets by Design, we have these two units that are look to be full height, and then these are a little bit lower. So these are going to just stop just below the hip in the back. And so on both sides, you can see that we're full height, and then they're also going 24-inch deep. But there's a trick to designing this in live storage. I can see that we're showing full height here, which wasn't always the case, but I also saw this quite a bit where they'd have an area that was full height in the closet, and then the last, I don't know, whatever it is, this is about 6 feet, so we're in the 18-foot range, so probably 12 feet here, that is shorter walls. So how do you do this in live storage? A little bit tricky, but we're going to start with by drawing our own walls in here, even though this is a square room. And in the plan, we have, starting on this wall, this is 36¼ inches, 215 and 5/8, 120, 215 and 5/8, and then 40 inches on the other side. So the door's offset in the room just slightly. So we're just going to start with drawing a regular wall. This was 36 5/8. And I'm going to start on this side, coming back around. Then we're at 215 inches, but the plans say that those first two sections are 35. So actually, I'm only going to draw maybe like a 71-inch wall. They were showing filler on one of the sides here, and I'm going to keep it at 96 inches high, bring it on around, but the next section I'm going to still go with a straight wall, but 71, so we have 214 and 5/8 inches, 215 and 5/8, so that's 154. 625, but I'm going to change the height of the wall to 78 inches. And I should be able to attach it to there. So now I've just made that wall a little bit smaller. Where the trick comes in is on the end wall, I can use the vaulted wall. And this one is going to be 120 inches. And in the center, it'll be 96 inches high. And you can see how it's drawn this vault. We'll adjust that once we get the rest of it done. I'm going to go back to that standard wall. And I have 154, and this was 3/4 on this side. Don't know what I did. $154 3/4. I'm the same 78 inches high, and then I can come back in, do the 71, change the height to 96. And I'm making sure that whenever I'm grabbing in the inside of the wall. Then the last wall was 40 inches approximately. I could just hit the return key here. Well, or not. So then that's our basic room. If we look at that, you can see we've got some adjusting to do. I need to bring this corner up to the 78 inches on both sides, not look like a 12-12 pitch on the roof. So I'm coming down 18 inches from the top here, and I'll come over 18 inches. And the way that looks like, if I grab this room, this is where it gets a little tricky. We have the total height of the wall at 76 inches. The left height and the right height are both going to be 78. And I can't really tab through these, so I have to put my numbers in. But the left width is, and what we're looking at there is the distance from here to here. To get that 45-degree angle, it's going to be 18, with 96 minus 78. I hit the tab key to set that dimension, and you can see over here how it changes that width. I can go to the right side. I'm going to do the same thing, and then that's our basic room. So anyway, that's a really good way to draw hipped rooms. If you are doing last thing I'm always going to do whenever I'm drawing my own rooms, shift room contents to center the room in the design. If you had hips on these two walls, which frequently you will have, the trick with that is when you're doing your dimensions on these walls, if you're editing it, you have to remember that you're standing in the room and looking at this. So this is the right side, and then that's the left side. Sometimes it can get confusing when you're looking at that and drawing the rooms on which side is which. Anyway, that is how to draw a hipped room and how we're doing it with two different sections. The cool thing about this too, in the design, they were showing transitions from this side to this side, so that lines up really easily in our design where we can do the 24-inch deep here and drop back to 14-inch on these two sides. So anyway, hope this helps. I'll talk with you later.